To talk to us more about this is local aviation attorney James Krause, a frequent contributor for WRAL. James, thank you so much for being with us. A plane on the ground, upside down with the wings and tail sheared off. It's a surreal sight, James. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
No, I never have, especially not on landing. Sometimes on takeoffs, you'll have a strange atmospheric phenomenon that will cause this sort of an event. But on takeoff, it's really, on landing, it's really rare.
How is it possible for a plane to flip like that after landing? I mean, these things are built to accept wind.
Well, we don't know when it flipped. If it's on the ground, it would be highly unusual for it to flip due to wind or any other reason. But we don't know what it was like on approach. We don't know what the wind, we know the winds were gusting. There was a fairly wide range in the steady state wind to the gust wind, and it was about a 60-degree quartering headwind. And those sorts of events, almost everybody's been on an aircraft when they're close to the ground and they get a sudden burst of wind that causes the aircraft to maneuver one way or the other. Mm-hmm. And my suspicion is that this aircraft got an unexpected, unanticipated strong gust of wind that flipped it as it came close to the ground. That would be my guess at this point.
James, we're hearing that the wind gusts were up to 40 miles an hour at the time that this happened. I imagine that has to happen somewhere in this country every day, and we have thousands and thousands of flights. Why don't we see something like this more often?
Well, you've got several things going on. You got snow, you've got a braking coefficient here with the snow and the wind and the slickness of the runway, if it made it to the runway. But generally, it's not a steady state wind that's the issue. It's the gust, because it will lull one moment and it will go to a greater wind speed the next. And also the direction of the wind is important. This was almost a direct crosswind. This was almost coming in perpendicular to the aircraft, 60 degrees off the nose or so, instead not almost 90, but headed towards 90. So this is a tricky way to land an aircraft with that gust spread and with that wind direction.
What sort of information do pilots get about these crosswinds, not only from their instrumentation, but perhaps from the tower?
Oh, they're well aware of the wind situation. They're briefed. They get constant updates through their headsets. They're aware of the wind situation, but you know, what might have been forecast to gust to 40 might suddenly gust to 60. It's just very unpredictable.
At which point does a pilot decide to circle back and make another approach?
Generally, he doesn't do it when he's close to the ground. We have a saying in aviation, what's ever happening down here only gets worse up there. So if you're close to the ground and you can put it on the ground, go ahead and put it on the ground. And so I would assume that if he was going to do a go around, he would have done it before he got very close to the ground.
What will investigators be looking for as the investigation gets underway here?
Well, just what you said. They'll be looking as to what type of information he got. They'll be looking to make sure there were no control malfunctions on the aircraft. They'll be looking at the training of the flight crew. And one thing I want to point out is the regulations that cause these 16G seats to be mandated in these aircraft kept those seats attached to the aircraft floor, and the seats did not come loose. And if everybody had their seatbelt fastened, fortunately, we have many fewer injuries than we would have if we hadn't had those stronger seat attachment points mandated for all commercial aircraft.
Yeah, very good point, and amazing. We haven't seen any fatalities with this. Let's hope it stays that way. James Krause, we appreciate your time as always.
Glad to do it. Let's hope those people are all safe.
Yeah. Thank you.